Back in the early 2000s, if you wanted a car with 300 horsepower and four-wheel drive, but that was still affordable for the everyman, you really had a choice of only two cars, the Subaru Impreza WRX STi and the Mitsubishi Evo. Nowadays, it says a lot about how far things have come that the Evo is no longer available, and that you can get a Golf or a Focus with as much power and four-wheel drive for round about the same price. As a result, the market for cars like the STi has significantly dwindled, and many now see it as a bit of a dinosaur in an era of new four-wheel drive mega hatch competitors. But has the last rally refugee still got that magic? Where better to take it than the iconic Sweet Lamb complex here in Wales, just before the start of Rally GB, to truly find out. WRX STi still follows the same blueprint set down by the original Impreza turbos of the 90s. That's four-wheel drive, high horsepower, big wing. Now these days it stops a little short of going the full McRae, so you will have to get your own gold wheels, but apart from that it's more or less the same as it's ever been. Power still comes from the same 2.5 litre turbocharged boxer engine that Subaru's been using more or less for the past 8 years. It's had a couple of minor tweaks in that time, but it still makes 296 brake horsepower with a full fat 407 Newton meters of torque. Peak power kicks in from a fairly lofty 6,000 RPM. 0 to 62 miles per hour takes 5.2 seconds, although you will have to be pretty hard on the driveline to match that. And top speed, if you're brave enough to reach it, is 152 miles per hour. Yeah, there is a bit more turbo lag than you might expect in this day and age, but to be honest, I kind of like that boosty feeling. There's a real sort of sense of drama and anticipation whenever you put your foot down, and then it just sort of explodes onto the mark whenever it comes on boost. It's so fantastically aggressive as well, with tiny gear ratios and huge acceleration. Even in this day and age, this car is such an event to drive. To me, it's the sheer tactility of the car that really makes it. Yeah, it's a bit clunky and a little bit rattly and the gear shift's a bit heavy on it, but it just feels so alive, like there's just cogs and oil down there rather than anything designed to massage out its imperfections. There's four-wheel drive as standard, of course, along with no fewer than 3 differentials, including an adjustable centre differential which you can send more power to the front for more grip, or more torque to the rear for, well, you know. New to this model is a revised chassis that's a full 140% stiffer than its predecessor, so it's probably fair to say that it's not quite S-Class comfortable then. At the same time, it's not the bone shaker that some people seem to make it out to be, and I reckon that anybody who's interested in this car, truly interested in this car, isn't going to mind. Grip is mighty too, with unshakable traction, while there's also a quickened steering ratio for a pointier turn-in, along with torque vectoring and big Brembo brakes to scrub off all that speed. Yes, there are cars that are faster, cars that accelerate harder, cars with better engines and better refinement too, but the STi is still a hugely quick and hugely exciting car. Plus you've got that boxer engine note, which is dirtier than a teenage boy's search history. Inescapably, the biggest letdown of the WRX STi is its cabin. In fairness, nobody's ever bought an STi and marvelled at the quality of its interior, but given that this car costs almost as much as a Golf R, the grey plastics and mock carbon inserts do seem cheap in comparison. It does benefit from these comfortable STi badge sports seats though, while it's also got quite a lot of kit, including sat-nav, cruise control and dual zone climate control. No parking sensors or parking camera though, so be careful where you point that way. To its credit, the driving position is good and visibility is also excellent, particularly when you're checking over your shoulders for your blind spots. However, be aware of this Alpine infotainment system. In fairness, it is quite easy to use and it's also miles ahead of the old head units and Imprezas of old, but still compared to today's sleek touchscreens, it does seem like a bit of an antique. Compared to many hot hatches, the STi is also very practical as well, with 4 doors for easy access to the rear and very spacious rear seats. It's also got a 460 litre boot, that's 40 litres more than it used to have, so rally car for the road, rally car for the Tesco trip. Priced from $28,995, it's £2 or so cheaper than its main rivals, the Focus RS and the Golf R, but that said, it's no longer the performance bargain that it used to be. Running costs are poor too. Claimed economy is 27.2 miles per gallon, and to be fair, we have actually beaten that. We've recorded 29.5, but all the same, that's not amazing. Worst of all, CO2 emissions of 242 grams per kilometre will cost you £870 in tax for the first year and £500 from there on out. Would that put me off buying one? Well... The thing is, driving a performance car used to come with a certain amount of sacrifice, particularly cars like the STi, because they were as close to the rally counterparts as was permissible. That didn't matter to the people who bought them, because they cared that much about driving them. There are plenty of reasons why you would snub the STi in favour of something like an Audi S3 or a Golf R, but without sounding like the ultimate hipster, it's almost like the difference between MP3 and vinyl. After all, nobody buys a record for its modernity or for its convenience, but for that richness, for that tangible physicality. Is the WRX STi still worthy of its World Rally Experience nameplate? I'd argue yes. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. To find out more about this car, click on the Inquire button, or for any other car, visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews, click on one of the links on screen now.